All right, it's new project reveal time and a cold start. So I got it a couple days ago. In the last video, I told you keep it a surprise, and I was gonna make a video on it, but it took all day to get it back home, and I just didn't have time to shoot video on it. But I've had it maybe a couple days, done a little bit of work to it, but here it is. It's a 73, 3/4 ton 4x4. It's got some rust. It's a small block 350 with a turbo 350 trans. I got the valve covers off just to make sure everything was working right, and pretty surprised when I popped the valve covers. It was spotless under there, no sludge. You know, guy told me that the truck only has 56,000 original miles on it, which is kind of hard to believe, but it was used as a plow truck for a guy's lakefront up in Incline Village, Lake Tahoe. So it didn't see too many miles, but you can see it's kind of beat. And it's got some rust issues, like they all do. I've already chopped out a bunch of the rotted floorboard and got the replacement boards, floorboards coming. But yeah, look at this. It's all rotted on that body mount, so I just cleaned it up a little bit, cut out. So I got rocker coming and floorboard coming, and so I'm gonna chop that out and replace it. Yeah, the truck's only reading like 56,000, I think. The carpet was actually in really good shape. I just folded it back, peeled it up, folded it back. It was amazing. I think somebody recarpeted it at one point, but so didn't cut the carpet out. I wanted to keep it nice, put it back. It's got the heavy duty hubs up front, the old school heavy duty hubs. And it's a tailgate version. It's not the barn doors, which is kind of weird, but it looks like the guy had broken off the crank handle to get the window down, so the tailgate's stuck. I need to get in there and mess with it on the inside. I got the panel off already, so I got to figure that one out. Needs a tail light. A little rust on the door there, but the rockers are surprisingly in good shape. Under here, usually they're all rotted out. But, you know, that driver's side's getting replaced, and you know, it's rotted there. So I'm going to replace this side also. Focus. There we go. It's a Custom Deluxe 20. AC. power steering, power brakes, no cruise control. All right. 350. And the headers are all rotted out at the collectors, so it's just like straight headers out. Sounds like crap. I gotta get some new headers on it. Cut the old rotted exhaust off, pull those headers, put some new headers on it, put some valve covers on it. Probably put a new carb on it. It runs, it idles, but it falls on its face as soon as you throttle it under load. So it looks like the accelerator pump's been replaced recently, so I don't know what the deal is there, but it acts like an accelerator pump problem. It's an old Holley, so I don't really like that design with the transfer tube right there, and the little O-rings leak all the time. And so I got an old Quadrajet that I know runs pretty good. Another one on the shelf that I'll throw at it. I got a clean chrome bumper for it. I don't have a grill though. Those are pretty hard to find and really expensive. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there yet. I'd love to get a factory grill back in it. So we'll see if she fires up. So I've had it a couple days and I've done a few little things to it, like I cut out, just see what the damage was on the floorboards. So I did that, and the trans on the column, it wouldn't shift into park. It wouldn't stay into park. It would be stuck in reverse all the time. So you'd go to put it in park and go to fire the truck up, and it would take off in reverse unless you held the shifter, unless you push the shifter up really hard next to the park. So I got underneath it and adjusted the linkage a little bit, and I don't know if it's the detent in the trans is messed up, because it doesn't really click when you go to engage gears. You should get the 5 clicks. It doesn't really have that. So I think the detent, I think the pan on the trans has got to come off to deal with that. So I adjusted the linkage and I got it to stay in park, but I can't get first. You can't manually shift all the way down to first, because I used up some of the adjustment to get it into park. So I figured it's more important that it catches park instead of, manually putting it into first. And the trans shifts. I've driven around the yard already once, and it does shift, so I know all the gears are working in the trans. But it feels like the front end's all sloppy and worn out, probably from having that plow on it for years. And the leaf springs are negative, and I'm sure all the steerings, all the, I don't know, the ball joints, but all the tie rod ends are probably need to be replaced and all that. And so it definitely feels sloppy on the front end. But I do have a nice set of stock leaf springs out of that 75 3/4 ton. I kept those, and they were in really good shape. So maybe it'll give it, I was going to throw those in it, maybe bring it up another inch or whatever, because they weren't negative at all in that other Suburban that I had. They're in really good shape. Plus, I have all the shocks off that truck too that were, I think the rears had just been replaced and the fronts were in really good shape. So I'm sure this thing needs shocks real bad. So I was going to throw that at the front end, maybe rebuild the steering. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to see what that's going to cost to get new steering parts in it. I did make sure the first thing I checked was the steering box and the frame to see if it was cracked. These old Chevys crack right at that steering box. And especially being a plow truck, I thought, maybe that was a guarantee that it's going to be broken. But I checked and it's not. There's no cracks. There's a remnants of where the plow bracket was. You can see that weld and that chunk of steel when they had cut the plow off or took the plow off, whatever. So there's a little chunk I need to clean up there. and then there's a piece on the other side that needs to be done.